SunPower stock is down 97% in the past 3 years. That's on top of over 100 solar company bankruptcies last year alone. Is another top 5 solar company about to go bust? We're going to be answering that question in today's video. The smarter way to go solar. All right, now in today's video, we're going to be talking about SunPower, and is SunPower the next big solar company to go bust? Now, earlier this week, Time magazine reported that SunPower might be the next big solar company to collapse. Last week, rumors started swirling around the internet when SunPower sent out an announcement on July 17th informing dealers that they were not going to be accepting any new lease or power purchase agreements. Now, leases and power purchase agreements are the financing vehicle that SunPower uses to initiate and fund new solar projects. So this essentially means they aren't accepting any new customers or any new sales. Now, they also informed dealers that they would not be completing any solar panel installations that had already been sold and materials delivered, even though those systems were under contract. Now, folks, this of course begs the question, if you're not selling any new solar projects and you're not installing any solar projects for which you're under contract, what exactly are you doing? I mean, that is the business, right? You sell, you install, and in the interim, there's a little bit of permitting and paperwork that has to happen. But if you're not taking in new business and you're not completing old business, you're essentially out of business. By the way, if you had a solar company under contract and the company went out of business before they delivered your solar installation, go ahead and post a comment down below. We'd like to hear your story. Now, last December, SunPower made an announcement that they may not be able to continue as an ongoing business concern. The company also said that past financial reports should not be relied upon. Then, earlier this year, on March 21st, NASDAQ gave formal notice to SunPower that they were out of compliance with the listing rule, which of course is the rule that requires the timely filing and the timely publishing of financial reports. Now, to make matters even worse, on July 3rd of this year, SunPower announced that Ernst & Young had resigned as the company's independent accounting firm. And so they said there was a dispute over the audit, which tells me that Ernst & Young got into the books, figured out that the books were cooked or that the accounting was done in a very inaccurate, improper manner, and they decided they didn't want anything else to do with the business. I mean, to me, this just reeks of rats jumping off a sinking ship. Now, I've got to comment on one thing here, because I've sold competitively against SunPower in the past at a number of different companies, and one of the things that SunPower would always tout was that, and this was really in justification of their much, much higher pricing, is that, well, they have the best warranty in the industry, and they have a 40-year bumper-to-bumper warranty. But as we're all learning now, a warranty is only as good as the company that issues it. And so although SunPower was issuing a 40-year warranty, what good's that warranty going to be if they go out of business later this year? I mean, I can get up here and say, hey, look, 100-year warranty. I got 100-year warranty. I have the best warranty. Doesn't matter if I don't have the financial strength to back it up. And it appears that that's what's happening with SunPower now, is the finances are unraveling as we realize just how, frankly, how badly the books were cooked. Okay, so how do solar companies cook the books? Well, there are a few things that come to mind. The first is how they account for new sales or new contracts coming in. Now, I have some personal experience with this because I went through this same process back in 2019, where my company experienced a lot of sales growth, but we actually became very unprofitable and ended up having to restructure the business. So the one way that solar companies cook the books or fool themselves into thinking that they're making more money than they actually are is by booking new contracts as sales. In other words, as income. Because you have a certain amount of revenue under contract, even though you haven't delivered the solar power system yet to meet the terms of that contract, if you book that into your accounting system as income, it's going to inflate your financial reports. It's going to make the business look more profitable than it actually is. Now, of course, the other problem we're dealing with in the industry is M1 advances. And when we talk about M1 advances, typically when a solar system is financed, the finance company pays the contractor on 2 milestone payments, milestone 1 and milestone 2. Milestone 1 is typically right after the contract is signed. As long as the credit's approved and all the paperwork checks out, there's an M1 payment or an M1 advance. And then the M2 payment is the final payment that's made after the system installation is complete and after all the inspections have passed. So that's typically your final payment. Well, the problem with the M1 advances is that it can kind of fool you into thinking that your business has generated more cash than it actually has. I mean, after all, when you receive that M1 advance payment, it is cash coming into the business. However, it's not actually income. In reality, it's debt. It's an advance. It's a loan that the finance company is advancing to you in anticipation of future earnings when you actually complete that project and you can receive your final payment. But I know, and again, this is from personal experience, when you account for those M1 payments as actually income coming into the business, as opposed to a loan that has to be paid back, you can again fool yourself into thinking that your business is more profitable than it is. Now, one area where this gets murky is the accounting for the work in progress, or the WIP, we call it. And what the WIP is it's solar system installations that are under contract, but that have not yet been done. And so if you're going to take deposits, or if you're going to take advances, let's say from a finance company, the contractor has to set aside a certain amount of cash in a restricted reserve to cover the future costs of doing the actual solar panel installation. But this is where it can get murky, because if they don't properly account for what those future costs are, which as a contractor, you don't know exactly what your costs are until the job is done. So you can kind of guess, you can kind of estimate what you think those costs are. But if the contractor doesn't have enough cash set aside, restricted, to execute that future project, they could find themselves in a position where 2 or 3 months down the road, once all the permitting and paperwork is completed and now the project is ready to install, they may not have any cash left to install. And that's where a number of companies have gotten into trouble. Now again, guys, I'm talking about this from personal experience, because in 2019, my solar contracting company had grown. Our sales were higher than we ever had before. So our deposits coming in, our cash coming in to the business on a monthly basis was higher than it ever was before. But I got a call from our finance company, and we had a great finance partner that spotted the problem before we did. And we said, Joe, we have a problem here. You're going to be out of business soon. And the reason is because you're taking in twice as many new deposits for new contracts sold as you are taking in final payments for projects that are completed. And so if we can't get that back into balance, then the business long-term is not going to work. In our case, we eventually had to restructure the business and let a larger company come in to take over the EPC, or the actual contracting and construction side of the business. So is this what's going on with SunPower? I don't know, but it appears that Ernst & Young didn't want anything more to do with it after they had a look at the books in July. The Wall Street stock price represents a 97% loss of enterprise value, so it's only a matter of time, I think, until SunPower has to close its doors as well. But it wouldn't be the first. We've had a number of high-profile solar bankruptcies or solar business closures in the past couple of years. Just a few that come to mind are Pink Energy, formerly known as Power Home Solar. Of course, there was Titan Solar Power that closed business last month. There was also ADT that acquired SunPro just to shut the business down 18 months later. And I suspect that there are a number of other solar business failures coming in the near future. By the way, if you didn't see our previous video about the closure of Titan Solar Power, which at one time was the largest residential solar installer in the United States, go back and watch the previous video where I dig into some of the factors that may have caused Titan Solar Power to have to go out of business. So what does all this mean for the industry? Well, I'm going to give you my opinion on this today. I think the current business model and the current dynamic that you have between customer, homeowner, the solar contractor that does the work, and the finance company that provides financing for the work, I think you're going to see that dynamic change a little bit. And what I think you're going to see is that the homeowner will sign more directly with the finance company, and the finance company will bring in whatever contractors it needs, either to do the initial installations or to provide maintenance service down the road. In other words, the permanent relation is no longer going to be homeowner to contractor. The permanent relationship, or the long-term relationship, is going to be homeowner to finance company, or homeowner to bank. And then the bank is going to bring in whatever contractors it deems trustworthy to do the work. It could be the company that did the original install, or it could be another service provider that they have to hire down the road. Because here's what's going to happen. As more and more of these solar contractors go out of business, the homeowners are going to have repairs needed on their systems. Their solar systems are going to stop producing. They're going to start getting electric bills again. And then the homeowner is going to call up the finance company and say, look, I'm not paying any more loan payments, or I'm not paying any more lease payments unless you send somebody out here to fix my solar system. And I can totally understand them being in that position. So that's going to force the finance company into the role of O&M, or operations and maintenance. In other words, they're going to have a solar service department. The solar financing companies are not going to be able to just write paper and shuffle currency around. It's going to be, they are now on the hook to make sure that those systems stay healthy for 25 years. Otherwise, you're going to have massive defaults on these loans and leases for homeowners that don't want to pay for a malfunctioning system. So this has been a discussion of what's going on with SunPower, and is SunPower going to be the next large solar company to collapse? Hey folks, as always, if you're getting good value from the videos you watch here on Solar Surge, make sure you give us a thumbs up. And also go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well if you haven't done so already. That way, as we have new videos like this publishing, it'll come up on your feed and you can stay up to date with everything. Now, of course, if you're a homeowner, if you're in the process of looking at different solar power or battery storage options for your home, if you need to get a price quote from a reputable contractor, or if you already have a quote and you just need to get a comparison to make sure that you're getting the best equipment and getting the best deal, as always, you can reach out to us on the link below there, set up a call with a solar expert, or just use our free online quote tool so you can see how much solar and battery storage costs in your area. Well, that pretty much does it for today's video. I thank you all for spending some more time on the Solar Surge channel, and as always, I'm Joe Ordia, encouraging you to get prepared and be empowered. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. All right, I hope you're getting some great value from today's video content. Now, if you would like to have your business or product or technology featured on the Solar Surge channel, we can help you do that. Feel free to use the link below to set up a call with our media team so that we can discuss your marketing goals and how Solar Surge can help you get there. Solar Surge is the leading online community in the U.S. residential solar and energy storage space. And so if you would like to have your business or product or technology introduced to our audience, we can help you do that. Again, feel free to reach out to us on the link below to set up a call with our media team, or email media@solarsurge.net.